Well, with me now are Robert and Pamela Rickenbacker, better known, a.k.a. as Mr. and Mrs. R.
Yes. How you doing?
I'm great. And now we're sitting here just talking about music and you guys have a, well, what do you have? Is this a podcast, or is what is a radio show? What exactly is it?
It's an internet show, radio show, and the show you're talking about is the classics with Mr. and Mrs. R.
Right.
We play music from the 70s and 80s because that was real music then. You know?
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Mm-hmm. And so do you have something else beyond that? You have another show?
Yeah. We have the Mr. R show, and I play independent and unsigned hip hop and R&B.
You play? What do you mean? You play the music?
I play the music. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You don't spin the record, huh?
No, that was
DJ?
back in the days. You know, nowadays it's about MP3s and
right.
you know, your computers and everything. But I have a good time.
So how do we find? I mean, how do I find these stations?
RedPandaRadio.com, and we're on channel 600.
Okay, RedPandaRadio.com. And 600 sounds to me like it's probably a good number to have.
Yeah.
Right, easy to remember. But okay, let me ask you this, Mr. R. You got a hip hop thing going.
Yes.
You got the classic stuff. Where's your preference?
Well, being that I love my wife so much, and we do have another show that we'll talk about in a minute.
Okay.
My preference is both, because I'm a lover of music. I'm a lover of music, but I do have to say, if I have to pick one, I'll choose the classics.
Because most people today will complain about hip-hop music. I mean, you know, okay, it sounds good, it feels good. 10, 20 years from now, we'll have the legs that some of this classic music have, where you can really appreciate the words and the story of the music. Most people don't think so.
Well, yes and no. For me, myself, I consider myself different from everybody out there, because, you know, when you do hear the word rap, hip-hop, it associates with violence, negativity. But my show, I play music that's clean. No, even though I'm on the internet, there's no FCC regulations. I play clean radio.
No bleeping, no bleeping.
Nah, I don't do any of, well, I don't play the curse words and everything. Plus, I don't play the violent music, because I'm trying to show that there is music that you can listen to and understand. So that's why we have fans that are young, we have fans that are older.
So who would be today a current hip-hop artist that is clean and quality, in your opinion?
Clean and quality today?
Yes.
I don't know, they got quite a bit. Kendrick Lamar, he's real good. I like what he's doing. He's doing some nice quality music. Okay.
Now, Mrs. R, you and I were talking about some of the music that I like. You're talking about Smokey Robinson. We're talking about what an institution this man has been for 50 years.
Many, many years. Smokey absolutely captivates the audience no matter what. If you look at him, he is the whole show. You know, he can work a room like none other. So, I mean, he's awesome.
And what is he like? I mean, you've met a lot of these people, right?
I've met some of them.
Is that his real name, Smokey, by the way? It can't be his real name, right?
No, it's not his real name, but I don't remember exactly what it is. You remember what it is?
No, I've always said Smokey. I mean, you know, that's who we know him by, just like everyone knows us by Mr. and Mrs. R, even though we have our names. But, you know, everybody goes by that stardom.
The one little fact I do know about Smokey is he had this divorce thing with his wife, and she got half the music rights, and he had to buy it back, and you know, so he had some of that in his background.
You know,
no different than a lot of performers, right?
Right, and I find that hard. Sometimes it's like you build upon a dream that you have, and then you go into divorce and you're splitting up everything. I mean, granted, if you're with someone from the ground up, of course you want them to have something, but to take almost all of everything is not right. I mean,
and how do you choose what you're playing on the radio, and how is it? Part one of the question. Part two of the question, you know, with everything going today to just music, you know, serious radio, you know, just song after song after song, and then you have, you know, talk show radio hosts, and you kind of merged both of them, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about those two issues.
Okay.
I forgot my first question.
Like you said, anybody can put on an iPod and just play music.
Right.
But what we wanted to do was provide entertainment with that music. That's why we have, you know, where our personalities are explosive and fun, and people love to listen to us you know, it's supposed to just, anybody can just put on the music, but
Right.
we just like to bring a different dynamic to it together. And I'm just thankful that it worked as a husband and wife team. A lot of people, you know, they, in the beginning, they didn't really see it. The husband, how, that's not going to work, but it definitely works. Our chemistry is definitely great, and it's just great for radio.
So when you two are in the car together, what are you playing on the radio?
We love classics. That's why we decided to do the classics.
Who's your
show.
favorite artist?
My favorite artist
Yeah.
of all time?
Yeah.
I have to say the Spinners.
Oh,
Yeah, say the Spinners.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And how about yours, Mrs. R?
I would probably take, I have so many, but I'm going to say at this point, I really like Cheryl Cooley. In fact, we interviewed her, and I just find that the music that she put out, the way that she captivates the audience as well, is just totally awesome. She is a woman that has brought just ladies to the ladies' room, you know,
Right.
and she's just awesome. So I like listening to her.
Who would you like to interview that you haven't?
I would take probably Anita Baker. And
You like the women. I can see
yeah,
that.
I love
You're
women. I
partial
mean,
to
I
the
like
women.
men. Don't get me wrong. I
Yeah.
love men. Love my.
I saw Roberta Flack. I mean, she's here or coming here soon. I saw a billboard, right?
You know, I
You
have
like
to
her?
tell you this, Ed.
Yeah.
As a little girl, I used to sing to her all the time. You know, I love her as well, but
First time I ever saw your face sing that? That's her, right? Yeah.
she's, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And,
And-
and who else?
I would say I like the Manhattans.
Uh-huh.
They're a nice group. What
Now
other ones
you're
do
really
we listen
dating
to a
yourself.
lot? No, I'm not. I'm 20, didn't you know?
Yeah.
What other one do we listen to a lot? Like when we're picking our music,
Uh-huh.
we're actually looking at each other and I'll go, you know, I like that. I remember that. I
Right.
remember that. Let's
Right,
do this
right,
one.
right.
And we'll do it because that's what we're feeling. Like we'll dance all over the
You
place.
know, I just can't get over when I think about, 'cause I mean, I grew up with like Motown music. And I grew up in Philadelphia, and there's a whole Philadelphia sound back there of, you know, groups, not the Spinners, but groups like the Spinners, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, and
Oh,
those kind of
yeah.
things. But I can't get over Stevie Wonder. When you talk about talent, generation after generation, and he just keeps going. He plays all these instruments, and he can still today get up in front of a piano and just by himself, you know,
Right.
carry a show. It's amazing.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, because back then, music was music. You know, everybody had to play the music. As opposed to today, it's about sampling, you know, pushing buttons and everything. That's why I think I liked the music better back then. Plus, I was in a band back in the day, so I could appreciate real music.
And what do you think of something like this Electric Daisy Carnival and EDC? You ever go to this?
I haven't really got into it, especially when it comes here, there's so many people. It's like I just stay away from that. But I love the music, you know. Don't get me wrong, but I just can't get into going there.
Yeah. And you know what confuses me in this whole genre of the Motown world, of all these groups that you don't know, they're still performing now, the Temptations, the Four Tops. I mean, you don't know, are they the real groups, are they not the real groups? It's very confusing to me.
Well, actually, they are, majority of them are the real groups, but they've implemented other people into it.
Right.
Because, you know, as you get older, you either stop or you're dying off. So therefore, you're going to try to keep the group going, so you just bring other people into it so you can keep making that money. You know, and that's what I see them doing.
Yeah. Last week I met, I didn't meet, but I was in a dinner when Quincy Jones was there.
Oh, wow.
Also, you know, just a legend in the business. And speaking of legends, what about somebody like John Legend? It kind of crosses over
Yeah,
everything.
I love John Legend.
I
So-
think he's a legend in the making.
Yeah, he is
Yeah.
a legend in the making, but when you're talking about R&B, he's cross-border, I think.
Later this summer, I have tickets to go see Johnny Mathis.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
Okay.
good.
Now, a lot of people, like my kids, have no idea who Johnny Mathis is.
Really?
At the time I was growing up, it was known that the man with the best voice anywhere in the world was Johnny Mathis. You agreed at that time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just amazing.
Well, and that brings to a point, like you said, a lot of people don't know who a lot of these classic artists are. I look at it like this. When we were kids growing up, that's what we listened to because we had no choice. That's what our parents listened to.
Right.
So if we were kids listening to that music, we're trying to expose the younger kids today to the music just the way we were exposed to it. And so a lot of people are learning about these artists from our show, which is a great thing, you know.
I want to thank you both very much for stopping by, Mr. and Mrs. R. And explain
Yes.
the Panda thing to me again.
Red Panda Radio, that's the radio station that we broadcast from.
So if I go online,
Yes.
right, just
Right.
put in, search Red Panda Radio. You get a listing of multiple radio stations. You go to
Yes.
number 600.
Yes.
Right.
Is it continuous throughout the day, or is it
No.
repeat, or how does that work?
We're
Or is
on,
it live?
let them know when we're on, baby.
Actually, on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're on from 4 to 8. That's
Yes.
with the Mr. R show, and
Yes.
What's Hot with Mrs. R. And then on Thursdays and Saturdays, we're on from 2 to 6.
On Saturdays.
On Saturdays and on Thursdays, we're on from
4 to
4 to 8. And that's when we do the classics
You
with
have
Mr. and
hours
Mrs.
like
R.
my doctor. And anyway, you can catch it, and they're right from Las Vegas.
Yes.
Right.
Right here in Las Vegas.
That's the good part. Mr. and Mrs. R, Red Panda Radio.
Yes.
Thank you.